The next stage is the conflict and rejection. In this stage, the conflict becomes direct.
The fire.
This is it, baby. This is the direct, public, and painful.
Right.
What had been subtle misattunements and biased interpretations escalate into ad hominem attacks.
Yep.
And verbal aggression from community leaders.
Fail for you.
Instead of addressing behaviors or specific concerns, leaders labeled me as annoying. This was not feedback, it was a personal insult. It targeted my character, not my actions, and it was repeated on multiple occasions.
Yep.
So this conflict and rejection gets to where, like, they're fed up.
Right.
We've had enough, and now our,
And I'm gonna keep going back to the responsibility phase of, like, if you're able to accept that,
yeah,
what happens? Someone's like, you're annoying, and you're like, you're right. I'm
annoying.
I can be annoying, and I apologize. And if I've gone too far outside the norm and it's going to kick me out of the group, then it won't be the first group I've burned out.
That's
so
right.
I love you. I care about you, and I'm off to my life, and I'm still love who I am. But if you don't leave powerfully like that in that kind of situation when someone's attacking you,
yeah,
it's the hardest thing to do when you're under direct threat.
yeah.
How do you maintain balance internally? I mean, that is a very high order in the brain of the human being.
It really is.
It can be attained, but it takes a lot of internal strength building. I talk about, you use your imagination, safe.
You got to know
places,
yourself.
Really, but you got to know yourself to the core. This is where in your entire life history, right? Your most valuable resource.
Yes.
Okay. Go back and scan it. Who were you at 4 years old, and how were you powerful, and who are you now? Because if you got your ass kicked at 4 years old, all right, and you were totally disrupted in your life, okay, then you were lifting 2-ton weights your entire life. Your resilience is damn strong.
You got good resilience.
But if you don't own that what happened to you is at 4 years old, and just say, hey, I get it. The world didn't understand me. They gave me everything against me, and it's just really dug my constitution in. All right, well, here I am now. Now I'm a powerful leader because when I was 4, I got my ass kicked, and that wasn't okay with me. And so I took it as strength, and now I'm using it.
Yeah, this is the difference between carrying your past on your back,
Yes.
weighing you down,
Yes.
or putting it on the ground in front of you and standing up on top of it and seeing better.
Yes.
Having better vantage point.
Yes. Or taking pieces of it and teaching others with it.
Yeah.
Or showing them this is what I went through, and this is who. So that
This is what I learned through the journey.
I was a horribly disruptive little 5-year-old man.
Yeah.
I threw tantrums, but that tantrum throwing 5-year-old that I was is all the passion I have for ADHD today and the leader I am.
We got to own our history.
Absolutely. But when you own it, it's power.
It's power.
Okay? Because otherwise their mental energy leaks.
That's hard because around that history, we probably have the noise of other people's interpretation.
We do.
Of all those
Absolutely.
negative social
Absolutely.
cues, of all of
Absolutely.
the feedback we got from the world that we
Absolutely.
weren't okay,
Right.
that we
Right.
were wrong, that we needed to change, that we were lazy, that all
Yep.
these things
Yep.
are stuck to this history.
Yep.
And we have to almost go back there with a barnacle scraper or a chisel or something and clean it up.
Magic wand. I'll use a magic wand.
Whatever we got, hocus pocus,
Right.
let's give our own interpretation, our own story. This is high level reframe
Yep.
that allows us to see ourselves in a positive light so that we can grow and learn and have that power you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and I may have talked about this before in our last podcast, that I call that the mining the gems of your life history.
we talked about it.
Okay, so how do you go back with experience, strength, hope, wisdom, knowledge, and pull it? Because then you can become a powerful person. But we will talk about, it is enormously challenging when you're at this conflict stage, when you're at the direct piece where someone's attacking you and you're annoying and they're personally calling you out. It's hard.
This is where you get the benefits of having done that work. You can't do that work in that moment.
No.
This is where you get the benefits of a lifetime of doing this work.
And this is also where when you have failure in these places and you do get kicked out of groups.
Yeah.
that it's fodder.
It's okay.
Because you go back and say, oh, okay, yep, did it again. Here we go. And this is where we're learning from failure. This is where we're taking it and we're doing something from it.
Let's see what they talk about here, or what I put in here. Goodness, I had fun with this. Goodness.
You did.
Scapegoating.
Oh, yeah.
And the need for a target.
Right.
Communities under stress often look for a single person to blame.
Yep.
Renée Girard's theory of the scapegoat mechanism explains how groups maintain cohesion by projecting conflict onto an individual,
right,
who is then punished or excluded to restore the appearance of harmony.
Yes.
This dynamic is particularly damaging when the targeted person is neurodivergent.
Yep.
Differences in communication style, social cue interpretation, or behavioral regulation can make ADHD and neurodivergent members more likely to be seen as problematic,
yep,
regardless of intent, reinforcing feelings of being othered and unworthy.
Yep.
I think the scapegoating thing is real.
Well, it's super real, and the challenge is it's a victimization of someone that actually stops growth of a group.
For the whole group.
Right.
Instead of looking at it, I think of it on the personal level, like if it's just one person. When we feel an emotion, right, we got some choices.
Mm-hmm.
We can go smoke marijuana. We can go drink alcohol.
Right.
We can go, we can go running.
Right.
We can meditate.
Right.
But I think the highest value response to that is to be with the emotion. I guess I get this from Buddhism and meditation practices.
Right.
Be with that emotion.
Right.
What does that emotion want? What does it say? What's going on there?
Exactly. Talk to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that allows it to move.
And for you to learn and grow from it.
Yes.
Understand it.
And
understand yourself.
And understand that our feeling states are our most powerful neurochemistry that are leading us as a radar system our entire life.
Heck yeah, that's intuition.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to it. And so I think this, when applied to a group, is the scapegoat is one of these we just want out of this discomfort.
I get it. Right. And so the powerful...
We just want out.
Right.
Instead of sitting with it and saying, what's going on here? What's really going on under the hood?
Right. And some people have tolerance for that, and some people don't want to.
Most people probably don't.
Well, they don't because they want to live by default.
Well, it's complex.
It is complex.
You have 5 or 6 people with their
complex.
histories. We are.
But think about how much it's sad to me because how much does a person lose the real juice of their life because they're living by default?
Yeah.
They just lose the beauty in so many ways. And the drive and all the nuances of the adventure. And that's a choice someone can make. I keep working at not being in default, consciously being, because in this case, okay, you get scapegoated. Again, we go back to this power source, your ability to be able to tell the group as you leave, I understand you're scapegoating me.
Yeah.
I understand
Speak
I'm the
to
problem.
It. Say the quiet part out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see that you believe that I'm the problem. I also saying that there's a norm here that's missing, okay? And I would love to resolve it. That may not be the case. You may not be willing to resolve it, to find a new norm, a new way of being, but you could. I'm telling you, you could. So you put the possibility, the potential on the table if you leave it, because if you do that, it forces actually.
They'll churn on it a little bit.
They cannot not.
Yeah.
Because
don't think about a purple elephant,
Right.
You've basically said hey, there's this purple elephant.
And that's why you're doing it, because you stay your power. Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm honoring this thing that's happening.
Right.
But I'm inviting contemplation.
Absolutely.
Inviting some other possibility.
Right. Because I will guarantee you there was someone else in the group either feeling similar feelings you felt, or felt disenfranchised, or felt like the power hierarchy was too out of balance in that group, and they didn't have the courage to say it.
We do. ADHD folks will say things.
We will. We will call things on the carpet. We will take the curtains and rip them back.
We will say it. We will say the dang thing.
It's our responsibility if we rip back those curtains to stay in front of them and say, I know I ripped back the curtains and I know this is intense right now and it's hard to see,
Yeah.
but hang with me. We can get through this.
Yeah.
That's the challenge sometimes.
Be the leader there, which is a through line for this discussion.
Oh, it is.
I love this.
It is.
This
It's
through
so
line of,
well because it's what you're doing here.
yeah. We need to be leaders.
Absolutely.
The next level is exclusion.
Yep.
The exclusion began subtly before any formal meetings. My messages to the group went unanswered. I would ask if anybody was riding on Tuesday or share when a leader gave me a jersey and no one replied. Reflecting on these moments, I recognize them as early forms of covert exclusion or ghosting, a passive signal that I was being marginalized even before any direct confrontation. Yeah, when like you say something in a group thread and no one responds, it's like, what's up?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Well, you know what's going on here. Your intuition's telling you exclusion's starting to happen.
Yeah, you're getting excluded.
It's clear. You're being divided out of the group.
Yeah.
And again, your ability to be powerful with that.
So the exclusion, these passive signals that you're starting to receive or not receive. Exclusion comes in, it's silent. It's what doesn't happen.
Well, true.
Right?
True. It's the ghosting. It's the non-returning things. And so exclusion becomes
not laughing when you make a joke.
It's very pointed, right? You can feel that you get the interrelatedness of the group has changed.
Yeah.
You're no longer interrelating. Okay.
Yep.
You're being pushed out and you can feel it, and you can feel it quickly. And it says, I still hold groups responsible. It's like, come on. Early on, stop the ghosting, someone be brave enough to sit down with Phil and talk to him and say, hey, let's get you a buddy. That's what we need on the neurodivergent space is like acceptance, understanding of like, okay, wait a minute. We can play in certain ways. We're going to help people grow, but not if someone's not willing to help us help ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to talk a little about the psychology of ostracism.
Oh, yeah.
Research shows that social exclusion activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Mm-hmm. Specifically, the anterior cingulate cortex and anterior insula. This means being kicked out is not merely an intellectual loss, it is felt somatically, with real distress signals. ADHD individuals may experience this even more acutely because of the rejection sensitivity dysphoria,
right?
A phenomenon characterized by extreme emotional pain in response to perceived or real rejection.
Right.
So, man, ostracization is a physical thing.
Well, you're internally getting hit.
Yeah,
is what it feels like.
Yeah,
and there is a chemistry to that when you're ostracized, it's like being hit.
Yes.
It's like being hit physically with something. And that sensitivity and that pain is very real. And without running into the victimization of people with, ADD, there's something wrong with them, all this other crap that goes on with it, the reality is, can we have some compassion for that?
Yeah.
Can we have some understanding and kindness?
Empathy.
That, okay, these people are 10 feet tall and every doorway is not made for them. They have to duck under it and they're going to whack their head every time.
Yeah.
Can we just have some compassion that says, hey, I get that. That must be challenging. We don't. We get the difference and the deference and all these other pieces and we get our asses kicked and we get ostracized and it's painful.
It's painful.
Horribly painful,
Because I have a deep desire and drive to connect with people.
Well, we all do. But
we all do.
But that may be one of your superpowers based on who you are, your ability to connect.
Yeah.
It's why you're doing what you're doing now, because you're connecting yourself and connecting other people and giving them something to live for and live from.
Yeah.
It's okay, but when you get ostracized, And to me, again, it goes back to the leaders of the group. That's not okay. We don't ostracize anyone in this group. Who the hell do you think you are? It's like, where are our leaders not standing up to that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's BS. That someone in that, but it happens all the time everywhere because people are still living out of power and greed and money and all this other crap instead of compassion and kindness and care and connection.
Yeah, y'all have been, there's people out there that are watching this that have been kicked out of groups or felt that ostracization. This is not
It's
unique
horrible.
to me or James.
No.
Or even to ADHD folks.
No.
You know, everybody experiences these things.
Right.
And I think it's important that we talk about it.
It is, because that talking about it again opens it. It allows it to move. It allows that emotion to be validated
Yes.
and understood.
Yes.
And it can flow.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Any other science here that I wrote about? Let's see. I wrote about, let's see. Perceived betrayal and relational rupture, which I think is important. A core pain point in stage 5 is the shattering of assumptions about friendship and mutual care. Which you talked about. Like in this group, we don't ostracize.
Right.
We
Right.
figure things out. We don't call people
Right.
out. We call people in.
Right.
You know, that type
Right.
of thing. You know, neurodivergent individuals may fast track people into their inner circle, which we talked about.
Yes.
Granting trust earlier than neurotypical peers.
Right.
When those trusted figures deliver exclusion, the result can feel like relational betrayal,
Yep.
evoking a trauma-like response.
Yep.
Research on betrayal trauma shows that exclusion from a valued group can create symptoms resembling post-traumatic stress,
Yep.
intrusive memories, hypervigilance, and difficulty trusting future groups. The sense of ambush, being called into a meeting without context, exacerbates the stress response as the brain shifts into a fight or flight state.
Yep.
So all this is to say, this is hard.
It is, and it's laying open the perspective that this is incredibly challenging.
It's
for
challenging,
us. And
yeah.
it's one of the biggest places because you just take a space of compassion. If you're onslaughted with this your entire life,
Yeah.
okay, you understand. I think there's a good reason why 70-80% of neurodivergency, if you look just at the ADHD spectrum, is undiagnosed. Why is that? I'm not going to go get a diagnosis. I'm not strong enough to get one. I'm underperforming. I'm underliving my life. That should be an alarm in our society that says, where the hell are these millions of people? Because it's a huge leak. It's a huge disruption.
Yeah.
Because it's happening. They're being ostracized. It is post-traumatic stress. They're living it. They're living they're living a war-torn life inside.
There's an opportunity for them to better understand themselves.
Absolutely.
And to ask for some accommodations, or at least to inform folks about,
Just consideration.
just to normalize some things.
Yes. Compassion, consideration of things. This is why things like, your paper here really outline it. But the reality is, it's just real. It's hard to read that kind of paper. Not that it's not important. It's horribly important, but it's like you read it and you go, oh my gosh, it's just right here.
Yeah, it's right here. On to stage 6, withdrawal, grief, and meaning making. Because you step back from that after that exclusion, you're by yourself. It's like if you broke up with a partner, you've got this void in your life.
Yeah.
That group was filling a void for you.
Sure.
Social nurturance, activity, physical exercise.
What if it wasn't a void? What if it was just a natural need?
Yeah. It's filling a need.
It is.
Right.
And it's a real need. It's not a,
It's a real need.
It's not,
you need to connect with people.
Right. It's not a contrived one.
No.
It's not something I'm trying to, I liked it. And unfortunately, groups don't understand the power with which they have for that goodbye.
Yeah.
Had that group been able to say their goodbyes to you, this is our norms, you don't fit, we love you, we care about you, but yeah, it's not going to work.
Breaking up is hard to do.
Yes, but if it's done well, it's at least done with understanding. You're still going to have grief.
You'll have grief.
You know,
You'll mourn the loss.
yes, but the meaning-making piece, I can't say enough about that.
This is important.
Right, because the meaning-making piece
Yes.
is where you drive your life from.
Yes.
This is where you rewrite your story.
This is a Viktor Frankl. This is what determines whether or not you find gold in this experience.
Right.
How you
Right.
move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it'll put you on a different side of the brain. It'll put you in that thriving piece of the brain where life becomes interesting and meaningful, and you want to be able to do that. But the making meaning piece is a critical one because it's what we're going to live our life by. It's
That's
our
right.
life story. And it's important not to get stuck in grief, right? It's easy to get stuck in grief. I'm so pissed off, I'm going to stay pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so depressed.
Yeah.
I'm so dissociated or shock. I'm stuck in the shock and the awe of what
This is
happened.
probably where you have those 10 stages, right? There's the 10 stages.
There was 5
of-
stages initially,
Okay.
right? That was
right where you
there are,
you don't believe it.
Right.
You get angry
about it. You get depressed about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You play
Is
the
it
what
5
if
stages?
Yeah, you
Okay.
play the what if game.
Yeah. What if this happened? How could I have
right.
done it differently?
Right, but at the end of it, you get resolution from an acceptance point of view. Okay,
Yeah.
this did happen. This is what
Happened.
is happening. I think the sooner you can do that, the better.
Heck yeah.
But this is where I think from stage 1, if you're really going to learn to powerfully manage your ADHD, you understand yourself, you walk into a group, you know the risk factors of who you are and how you are, and you start to address those early on. So you start making meaning of a situation at the beginning. It's not that you're looking to be disrupted or divided from that group at the end.
Yeah.
But you're trying to help understand. And so to me, that's all part of meaning making, is this learning loop that says, what am I going to take into the next space in a powerful way?
It says, I wrote here, integrating the personal and the systemic. Meaning making in this stage is not just about self-reflection, but about recognizing systemic gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Your insight that the group was skilled at bike mechanics but lacked systems for human repair is critical.
Right.
Healthy communities require intentional cultivation of clear norms and behavioral expectations,
Yeah.
feedback mechanisms, and opportunities for dialogue and repair. So that's something that's probably pretty healthy to recognize. Hey, these guys are good at riding bikes, but they might not be great at leading,
Right.
healthy communities and
Right.
calling
Right.
people in and
Right.
and that's okay.
It is okay. It's also something for you in making meaning of your own life and knowing that you appreciate and love the idea of connection with other people,
Yeah.
that is where your strength is. So even if you go into a bike group's going to have norms within the group. How could you start teaching them about the norms of that group in subtle ways early on that influence the space? So you
Yeah.
just now become a leader.
Yeah.
So that's what I would encourage you to take into the space going forward is like, okay, I like helping people understand how we connect and relate in ways that are meaningful. So with a bike group, it doesn't have to be overly, psychological or other. It can be because we're all going through it,
We're all going through it.
and you can be fascinated by it. So you can bring that in as a teaching tool, as a piece that says this is fascinating. Where you could go in and say, okay, I notice that I'm riding in the front all the time, and I'm not sure. Tell me the group norm on that. How do y'all relate to each other? And so now you're asking them questions. Now you're bringing it in.
Allowing them to be leaders.
Absolutely, but also in teachers. But you're helping them include you by including yourself in an area that you have of interest.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But if you don't feel confident about doing that, then you're going to go into the group as a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And you're just going to be all over the place.
This starts with confidence.
It does.
Okay, I'm a worthy person.
Yeah.
I matter. I will improve this group.
Right. Or
So
I can give
integrate
you
me.
opportunity.
Integrate me.
Right.
So ask questions.
Right. Because the
seek knowledge.
but I'm telling you, in a writing group based on competitiveness, the sports psychology world of
Yeah.
how that's managed, unbelievably important
Yeah.
to the greatest, groups, and they know it. If
Yeah.
they don't manage that diversity or that process in the group, and that could be and likely was to some degree some level of shortcoming in that group. It's okay. It's just what it was. Whether the power source was too out of balance or the intensity of who you were wasn't well understood or normalized or managed or whatever, hopefully they learned something from it, Phil.
Yeah. And I know I did, which takes us to this seventh stage.